Hey, this is Sam here from KitchenGadgetsClub.com and also the voice behind the popular Kitchen Gadgets podcast, Magic with Gadgets. Today I've got a brilliant one for you, and it's one for those of you that don't have the 15-in-1 or the Speedy, because you've been asking me a lot recently, well, what if I don't have the Speedy or the 15-in-1 and I can't steam, air fry, steam roast and steam bake and such like? What's the difference? How do I get my head around that, and what do I do differently? I can't afford to spend 300 quid on a Ninja, so what's my options? So what I want to do is I want to show you this, and this was a request from Kath. And she said, I would love to try steam air fry chips. I can't afford a 15-in-1 or 11-in-1 or whatever to do it in. So what's your plan B to do it for? In my old, she used the word old, and past it 9-in-1. And I thought it'd be funny because I actually got out my old cooking pot from a 9-in-1 that's really scratched and past it to do a true account here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a plan B, and this is great for anyone that's got steam air fry, steam bake, steam roast recipes and they don't have those features. And of course, one of the easiest ways to do chips using the Ninja Foodie, I'm going back to the 6-in-1s, the 9-in-1s and such like, any before steam air fry, is pressure cook your chips and then air fry them. Simple as that, and they taste better than the steam air fry setting. But the steam air fry, if you actually broke it down, basically it's steaming and air frying at the same time. So you can swap that steam element for pressure cooking, do that first and then air fry. Just like, say, if you're having a Christmas parsnips, you can steam or pressure cook the parsnips first, finish them off on the air fry setting and you're sorted. And one of our other readers, Lauren, she said that again, it costs too much to get the bigger machines, but what she actually has is she has an Instant Pot at home, a slow cooker at home and an air fryer. She's got the same Cosori air fryer as us, and what I said to her is that under circumstances like that, what you can do is you can follow this recipe for chips. You can pressure cook the chips in your Instant Pot and then transfer them to the air fryer. So it's as simple as that, so it's very easy to do it. The Ninja Speedy is basically mainly made up of a slow cooker, an air fryer and steamer in one. So if you think about that logically, you can easily use these recipes to your advantage. And quite a few of our Ninja Speedy recipes are just using the slow cook and saute, or they're just using the air fryer. It's just I prefer that size of cooking pot, so you know it's easy to mix and match. So today's recipe is dedicated to anybody that doesn't have the steam air fry setting and wants a plan B. So shall we get started? So like I said, we're pressure cooking and then we're air frying. So what we're going to do is we're going to just treat it like we're pressure cooking some potatoes to begin with, then we can get them out and then we can air fry them. So there's no mixing of the oil yet. So this is my old and trusty machine. This is my 9-in-1. I first got the 9-in-1 2019, I think, or somewhere around there. It was when it was just become popular. We were still living in Portugal and we moved back to the UK in 2021, so it was definitely before lockdown and all that. So I'm not kidding, that's the state of my old one. So it's great if you've got an old scruffy machine and you just want a cheaper option. We're going to use the air fryer basket in here because it's just an easy way to transfer them. If you're using the Instant Pot, steamer basket is fine. And then, like any other pressure cooker recipes, you need the liquid for it to go to pressure. So we're going to start with the liquid. Always cold water, because otherwise it goes to pressure too soon and your food will be undercooked. So the Ninja Foodie has quite a wide cooking pot compared to the smaller Instant Pot. So I'm using 1.5 cups, so that's 1 cup, half a cup. If you're doing this on the Instant Pot, if you've got the 3/4 or the 6/4, 1 cup's fine. If you've got the 8/4 or above, take it up to 1.5 cups. And then there's the air fry basket going back in. And then you want to add your potatoes. So I've got here 1.5 pounds worth of potatoes. So that's about 675 grams of potatoes. So just look there, just normal chunky chips. So put your lid on Like with any pressure cooker recipes, set the valve to sealing. So turn it on, and then for your pressure cooker part of doing your chips, you want to flick it over to pressure cook high, and then go to the time setting, go all the way down to 0, and then press start, and it starts preheating now, ready for pressure cooking. Whilst we are cooking, let me introduce you to the Complete Air Fryer Cookbook. It is our debut air fryer cookbook. We've done another one since, which is called Air Fry Easy Every Day, but this was the first, and it's sold more than 200,000 copies. It's a Sunday Times bestseller, and it's great for learning how to use the air fryer with just everyday ingredients. 140 recipes are included. It has both metric and imperial, Celsius and Fahrenheit. It's so easy to use, and it really does show you just how easy it is to air fry. We've got everything from chicken to steak to fish and chips to cake to cookies, you name it, it's in there. And we would love it if you grabbed yourself a copy, because we think you'll find it so easy to digest how to use the air fryer using our Complete Air Fryer Cookbook. And we'll add the link to the description below for you and to our other books. And now let's get back to the video. And we've beeped, so that means it's done its 0-minute pressure. So now your job is to press cancel. To release the pressure, note that we're going to have lots of steam, and then I can get the lid up and we can get making these into chips. And just like that, the pressure has finished releasing. So now expect some steam. Lift up your lid. There's your potatoes, and then we're going to wait for the steam to go a bit so that you can see them. And if you look there, you can now see the potatoes. So I'm just going to allow them to cool down a little bit longer, because then we need to pat them dry and get them ready for air frying. So grab yourself some kitchen towel, because you want to pat dry your chips, because otherwise the oil won't stick to them and you won't have lovely fluffy chips. So then grab your basket out. You'll still have all that liquid in the bottom, which you'll need to get rid of before you're air frying, or maybe you're just transferring to an air fryer. But either way, oh, we've got a rogue one. You want to put your chips to one side like this, and then you just want to pat them dry a bit, wait for them to cool down a bit, because otherwise they'll just stick to the kitchen towel, and then we'll be back when they've cooled down a little bit. So now the chips have cooled a little bit, we can get rid of this water, because we're not going to need that, so we can get rid of that first, and then pop it back in. You can then also add your air fry basket in now, because we'll be going to be going from pressure cooking, which we've just done, to now air frying. So these are cool enough to be able to handle now. So what you want to do is you want to make sure they're patted dry a bit, and then what I tend to do is I tend to do another layer of kitchen towel so that I can pat them dry twice. So if you just want to move them to one side, get your other batch going. And I can feel now that they're not as wet as what they was, because the kitchen towels soaked up a lot of it. So, but I know this takes a bit, but honestly the chips, when you do them, this method is the best. I would rate it more so than the steam air fry. The steam air fry is doing both things at the same time, whilst this, you're doing it like you're doing double cooked chips. So this is more like when you go to the restaurant and they've been done 2 different ways or at 2 different temperatures. That's what you're achieving here. I'm just going to do this set first. Then once you've done those, give them a little bit of a pat. They can go into your mixing bowl, because the idea being that if they're too wet, then the oil won't stick to them and you won't have those lovely crispy chips. I've done them without patting them dry, and what happens is they just take forever to go crispy, so you end up with a really long cook time. This is kind of like when you do roast potatoes and you parboil them first, and you can get a bit of fluffiness going on at the edges. So that's the first lot. And then this is the remainder of them. So just make sure that none are wet still. And there you go, that's the last of them. So they're just on the last bit of pat dry, and then I'm transferring them all into a bowl, which I'll show you in a second. So just dab them over like that. And then start popping them all into a bowl. So this is the bowl that I've got going on here. And then this also does a good job of removing the starch. So if you're using starchy potatoes, then it gets rid of that as well. And then I've given my hands a quick wipe. And then we're ready to prep those and get those chips on. So, just like you would do with any of our air fried chips, a little bit of olive oil. Olive oil does the best job. Oh, I've been on this bottle of olive oil for ages and I think I've finally run out. And then, just like any chips you would make, lots of salt. I'm just using fine sea salt. A bit of pepper. And then after that, you can give it a mix with your hands, but be gentle because you don't want to break them all up into small pieces, because it's not like you're using raw potatoes here. So very, very gently. And once you've done this, just like when you roast potatoes, example I mentioned, you know, they'll go nice and soft at the edges. And then you can pop them all in. And we can get them air frying. So I'm just going to wash my hands and then we can get them on. So wipe the hands. We're on the air fryer lid now. So you could also be transferring these from using your pressure cooker to just your air fryer. This would work in our Cosori air fryer, Flex Straw, any of them really. Pop it on. And now you're looking for air crisp. Then you're looking to set the time to 15 minutes. And then set the temperature to 180 Celsius. So you're at 180 Celsius, 360 Fahrenheit, 15 minutes, and then press start. And we've beat! Shall we check on these chips and see how they're doing? Are you ready for it? They're getting some colour on them already. So I recommend some silicone so that you can just get in there and sort out your chips. Oh yeah, look, they're not stuck that much. There's just the odd one at the bottom, because it's so much harder to shake the basket when you're doing them in these. But those bits that get stuck, they become really, really crispy and lovely. So now you've broken them up a bit, we're going to pop it back on. So now we're going to be increasing the temperature up to 200 Celsius, 400 Fahrenheit. And then the cooking time to 8 minutes. And then press start. And we've beeped. So shall we have a look at these chips and see how they're doing? Oh, and wow, look at those. They look fab. Oh, and the crispiness on them is brilliant. It's just like when you have them at a restaurant and they've done the twice cooked chips. And what you've done is, it's the equivalent of really doing a parboil before you cook your chips. So it gives it a lovely fluffy texture. But of course, it's a lot of hassle, isn't it, for just normal everyday chips. But if you wanted to achieve better than the steam air fry, then this is how I would go about doing it. So I think I better get myself some portioned up, shouldn't I? So I've got myself some ketchup, because you've got to have some ketchup or some mayonnaise, haven't you, with your chips? Tell me which one you are, by the way, in the comments. And then we can get these all portioned up, can't we? I can also give you a close-up on these lovely chips. Oh, look at those. And the bits that break off, they actually come out like scraps. So if you're into the British chippy and you love your chips and scraps, then bear that in mind. Oh, I just love the texture you get on these. And wow, look at that for a portion of chips. With some ketchup, and they're just so nice when you do them like that. So check those out, they look brilliant. So I'm team scraps at the chippy. Oh, they're good. They're really good. Look at that. They're nice. So if you think for portion size, This is plenty for a full-size portion of 2 people, cooked using your Ninja Foodie. Or I say, if you don't have to steam air fry, 0-minute pressure cook, followed by an air fry, and you're sorted. Thanks so much for watching our YouTube video. It feels so amazing that you've stuck around to the end. And of course, that must mean that you like our videos. So why not also follow us on social media? You can find us at the Kitchen Gadgets Club on Facebook and on Pinterest, TikTok, we're Kitchen Gadgets Club. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great videos like this one. And you can also find us at KitchenGadgetsClub.com, where we have a membership that shares brand new kitchen gadget recipes every week. And we also have lots of great ideas, resources, tips and tricks. And we are an ovenless kitchen, so we teach you exclusively how to cook with kitchen gadgets. And a ciao for now.